Are you curious if Thomas's accent is real? Or will you be surprised if we say it's fake? Cillian Murphy, aka Thomas, is originally Irish. So, how can he have such an accent? Be sure to keep watching until the end because you will never believe this about the accent. Now that Peaky Blinders' 6th and final season is coming to an end, we're just trying to soak up as much of the show as we can before saying goodbye for good. So if you too are obsessed with Shelby, you might be curious to learn what the cast's real-life accents are. Tommy Shelby, Cillian Murphy. Tommy Shelby, everyone's favorite Brummy gangster, is played by Cillian Murphy, who is not originally from Birmingham. The actor, best known for his roles in Inception and 28 Days Later, was born in Douglas, an Irish suburb of Cork, but he expertly transformed his Irish accent into Tommy Shelby's Birmingham lilt. The Cork actor who plays gangster Thomas Shelby admits it takes him a month to get back into the Brummy accent. Every time I finish it, I think, I don't know if I can do that again, he said. And when I go back to try to get into it, I've totally forgotten how I did it in the first place. I might rewatch the final episode of the previous series to refresh my memory, but it'll be a slow process. I never know if I'll get the accent back because you can't ever think, I'll snap back into that. Because it's a big old leap for me because he's not at all like me. You just have to put in the time and effort. You spend a lot of time talking with the director and writer to figure out how the new series will go. I never have the confidence to just go get my hair cut and think I'm great. When I asked if he had ever been told that his accent needed work, he replied, yes, definitely, and especially at the beginning. I don't have the talent, I must practice. It's like going to the gym for my mouth. It takes me about a month to figure out an accent. I'm not a very good mimic. Over the years, one thing that has given me some confidence is that the people of Birmingham have been very forgiving to all of us, so I believe we got away with it. The last series was directed by David Caffrey, and this series is directed by Anthony Bryan. So we've had 2 Irish directors in a row. Killian joke. Arthur Shelby, Paul Anderson. Paul Anderson has a lengthy resume. He's appeared in The Revenant, Legend, and the hit 2022 film Nightmare Alley, in addition to his role as the troubled but much-loved Arthur in Peaky Blinders. His real-life accent differs significantly from Arthur's. You can hear it in the trailer below, which Anderson also recorded the voiceover for. Ada Shelby, Sophie Rundle. If you have seen Sophie Rundle in the BBC drama The Nest, you'll notice that her natural accent is very different from Ada's, but Ada spends so much of Series 6 as a huge legend that it's difficult to imagine her voice sounding any different. Michael Gray, Finn Cole. Finn Cole is no stranger to acting with an accent. From his classic Peaky accent to the Southern American drawl he adopted to begin Dreamland alongside Margaret Robbie, he's an accent chameleon. Finn, on the other hand, is from Kingston, London. Gina Gray, Anya TaylorJoy. We became obsessed with Anya after seeing her in The Queen's Gambit, and when she became a bigger part of Peaky Blinders, we couldn't be happier. Crucially, her American accent was nearly identical each time, so you'd be forgiven if you thought it was her natural voice. Anya was born in the United States, but her family did not live there at the time. She was born in Buenos Aires and raised in London until the age of 6, so she is fluent in both English and Spanish. Lizzie Shelby, Natasha OKeefe. Natasha OKeefe, another Londoner, was born in Brighton before moving to London when she was 1. Not only does her accent sound different from Lizzie's, but her entire voice appears to be at a different pitch. Alfie Solomon's Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy has done a variety of accents over the years, from Bane in The Dark Knight to Al Capone in the upcoming eponymous film. His Peaky accent is probably one of the most realistic. Stephen Knight has admitted that the accent of the city is very difficult to get right. The accent is frequently ranked last in polls of people's favorites. Except in comedies, it is rarely heard on television or in films. It is also rarely pronounced correctly. The rounded vowel sounds and the hard ing are frequently exaggerated. Phrases like "alright Bob" and "Trarabit" appear far more frequently in films' versions of Brummy than in real life. The accent is harder even than Geordie, according to Stephen Knight, the Birmingham-born writer of the BBC's post-World War I gangster series Peaky Blinders. It's considered so difficult to master that productions companies have shied away from filming dramas in Birmingham. There's been a big black hole in the middle of the country in terms of TV production. The accents were described as dodgy by The Guardian, and some sounds like a melange of Liverpool and generic Northern by The Spectator's James Delingpole, who grew up just outside the city. Knight claims that it is on purpose. I remember going to Birmingham City games as a kid, and there were these other kids in Small Heath who had their own odd, partly Scouse accent, he explained to the Birmingham Mail. According to dialect coach Elspeth Morrison of the Central School of Speech and Drama, there is another reason for the occasional resemblance to Liverpudlian. With the Birmingham accent, there isn't much movement of the face. If you have too much facial activity or tightness in your face, you may end up sounding like you are from Liverpool. For Birmingham accents, the lips tends to protrude forward, making them pouty and rosebud shaped, she claims. It also works on the other way around. When a director called me and said he had an actress who was supposed to be doing a Liverpool accent but sounding Brummy, I told him to ask her to smile and put some tensions in her cheeks. That really helped. A common misconception is that Birmingham's accent is slow. Crossroads' dim-witted Benny didn't help matters, and Ozzy Osbourne's famous Brummy utterances are, to say the least, hesitant. Then there is the monotonous rhythm from Gavin from Autoglass and Howard from the Halifax commercials, characters with no subtext who deliver simple messages. In an interview last year, Knight stated that actors' accents are often a really slow drawl. If you hear people talking, you will notice a hard, fast urban accent, he explained. I think there's a subtlety to it, and it's important not to overpronounce it. Joe Cole, who plays John Shelby in the drama, says, the key is to avoid going overboard. An open casting call was held in Birmingham for locals with authentic accents to auditions for roles in the new series. The line was about a half-mile long. People aren't exposed to the true accent very often, which must be a factor in why people find it difficult to mimic without sounding ridiculous, says Dr. Esther Asprey, co-author of West Midlands English, Birmingham, and the Black Country. People must overcome their prejudices that the Birmingham accent is dull, monotone, and working class before they can understand the technical quirks of the accent. The cadences of the accent vary more than those of received or standard accent-free English. In received English, a question usually begins slow, progresses straight ahead, and ends high. Instead, Birmingham has a rise-fall-rise intonation. There is a melody, Morrison adds. With accents as tuneful as Birmingham's, getting the tune wrong is very noticeable. It has a distinct and repeating melody. It is a bit like sing-song, which is not something that most people associate with Birmingham speakers. Then there are the rounded vowels like, counting to fourth, for example, but the subtlety in the pronunciations is often overlooked. Because of the city's locations near the center of England, the accent is an odd mix of regions and styles, with predominantly northern vowels and some scattered southern vowels. While grass and class have a hard A, other words such as laugh, larf are not uncommon. When Peaky Blinders was set, Birmingham was made up of about 3 different counties, Asprey adds. Warwickshire, which would have been Edgbaston, had an almost southwestern accent. Bathland and Staffordshire would have been more traditionally Brummy, and to the north was Shropshire. There were also immigrant influences. Words like use are very Irish, she continues. The Black Country accent is quite different, and people who are not from the area frequently mix them up. Asprey adds, it implies that the true accent is underrepresented. The Black Country retains much of its dialect, such as the yo and the ain't. Brummies wouldn't say ain't. There's also the yam name to consider. The yam sound comes from the word yor, which is pronounced yoam, like yam. It is not a common phrase in Birmingham. Of course, like all urban accents, Brummy varies from north to south of the city and from house to house. And that's all for today's video. Want to know more things about the Peaky Blinders or Thomas Shelby? Please subscribe to our channel. What do you think of the accent? Do let us know in the comment section below.